kiss for you.
Basically, what I want to talk about today is Amazon Luna. Now, if you don't know, Amazon Luna is a cloud streaming gaming service similar to xCloud, GeForce Now, and all those other ones. And that's mainly the reason why I wanted to cover it, right? Why I wanted to sort of look at it is because I've looked at xCloud and all the other ones. And basically, the rundown is it's similar to those services, but it's most similar to xCloud in that you pay whatever it is per month. I think it's at this point $6 for a founder's. And there's like some special attachments or whatever that you can get, and you get access to a bunch of library games that are available on the service that can use both keyboard and mouse. The standard rules apply, right? It's locked at 1080-60. It does support keyboard and mouse. You get the games included, right? You can play it anywhere. It doesn't have to be locked down to like a specific program, that kind of thing. And overall, it is another service in that catalog that can be used. And similar to xCloud, its main advantage is that when you pay whatever it is for the service, you get those games included without having to, unlike GeForce Now, pay for the games separately, right? GeForce Now basically just gives you, when paying, the access to the server capacity. Luna gives you access to the server capacity and games to go along with it. So with that being said, there are a couple of important, interesting things to note. That it's set up a little bit differently. So it's the base $6 price, as you'll see right here in a moment. It's a base $6 price. You get some with Prime included. So basically the pricing model is $6 for the basic Amazon Luna Plus sort of catalog, and then you can add family, retro, sort of these different attachments or additions, channels they're called, if you want more games. So basically, I should also mention that it's officially out as of last week. That's why I wanted to do a Luna video. I tested the beta back in January, and I had a couple thoughts on it. So the footage, gameplay-wise, you'll be seeing is back in that beta in January, if you are wondering. But basically, when I had the beta, I had to, sign up, get the email, all that stuff, and it eventually said, how it works, how the channels work and stuff. And basically most of the interfaces and things are pretty similar from the beta. However, there are some things that there may be slight differences that might not be seen originally, but just keep that in mind. So first thing you'll notice, obviously, is the homepage is kind of attached to Amazon, right? So it's not like its own separate thing or separate app. It is attached to Amazon, so you can see Amazon at the top with your address, account, sign in, and all that stuff. And you have the Luna page with a splash screen talking about some of the games you can play for free if you have Prime. So if you have a Prime account, you can play a couple games on Amazon Luna for free, just as kind of like a test drive of the games. But similar to Stadia, you won't be able to play all the games with Prime. You'll just be able to play the selection that they give you as you're subscribed. So as we go down here, you'll see the Luna Plus. It talks about sort of the benefits of it, the catalog, the playing together with friends and family, and the support, as well as the games included. Similar to xCloud, the games included are kind of just like this big, massive list of games, and we have things like Devil May Cry 5, Observer, Saints Row, Grid, Metro Exodus, Ghost Runner, Resident Evil 7, Control, Kingdom Come Deliverance, Yakuza, Medium, some pretty good selection, 2 Point Hospital, Enter the Gungeon, Everspace. So we have a decent list here of games that you can check out. Most of these are available in the Luna Plus. So as you can see on the channels here, there's Luna Plus, $6 a month, Family Channel, which adds games that are family related, like some of the more multiplayer co-op games, some more kart racing, things like SpongeBob, that kind of stuff. The Retro Channel adds a bunch of retro games like Metal Slug, Castlevania, Centipede, and Street Fighter. The Prime Gaming is obviously the free one. Jackbox Games, for an extra $5 a month, adds the Jackbox Games selection of games to your list. And Ubisoft Plus basically is the first of potentially many partnerships. So for instance, Luna might partnership with Ubisoft Plus or EA Play or any of these other sort of bundling services that give you a bunch of games in that catalog. In this case, they partner with Ubisoft. So if you pay whatever $18 a month, you can get Ubisoft's new releases as they come out and gold editions of them or whatever. So that's basically how that works. You have the base $6 price, and you can add prices on. So that's basically the pricing model. So you also, I talked about the game catalog, showed a couple of games, the pricing model, the base pricing model, and the editions. There is a free trial, 7-day free trial if you want to get on that, if that is of interest to you, or again, you can test it out if you have Prime for free. Just kind of forever. It doesn't have to, there's no limit to that. So another important thing is there's obviously no limit, right? It's not like a GeForce Now free tier or whatever where you have like a limit that you can do. This is unlimited. So if you get Prime, don't worry, you're not going to be limited for the amount of time, like session length or whatever. So pricing, there's a free trial, the game's included. It does obviously support keyboard, mouse, the standard 1080-60 stuff. It's playable anywhere. All right, that's all the basic sort of housekeeping things of a cloud provider out of the way. As you can see at the top here, kind of like controls, there's home, there's a library, you can get different games, playlist, which are kind of like selections of games, search, which was not there in the beta, so it is there now. It's search on the home page, if you will, couch, broadcast, and settings. So couch is actually quite interesting. It's similar to something like Parsec if you've used it. It basically allows you to, with the cloud gaming option, make local co-op games online co-op, right? Inherently, because of the cloud. Let's say we join something like Moving Out, which is a local co-op game. You can then effectively join into that local co-op game as if you were playing it, right? As if you were like in there in the room, so you can like enter into the game without a problem. And there's a couple of co-op examples there. So that's Couch. If you click on Couch, it will bring you that. And obviously it's a Luna Amazon, so it can be attached to your Twitch and can be directly broadcast from there. Kind of like what Google was trying to do with Google Stadia. So now that that's all out of the way, you understand the interface, understand the games availability, how to get there. Just go to amazon.com/Luna. Now it's time to actually get into the games. It supports a variety of controls as well. It's not just like one, so you can do Xbox, PlayStation, that kind of stuff. In a lot of ways, it's the flexibility of something like GeForce Now with the included advantage of xCloud, right? The ability to not need to pay for apps. And you might think, okay, this is quite interesting, right? You have your $6 a month base option, which is like, okay, here's a selection of games. You can, for free with Prime, so there's effectively an infinite free trial, no like limit or anything on the free trial. That with Prime, you say, okay, I like it, let's pay $6 for the Luna one. I want a couple extra games in the family section, extra $3 there, you're paying now $9. With the family pricing, you have this versatility, use a controller, use a keyboard and mouse. You can do it in a browser, you can download the app. You're like, wow, this is pretty versatile, and unlike GeForce Now, you get some games included. And so you think, okay, this is nice, this is like the thing you'd want from Stadia if Stadia was good, combined with the convenience of something like GeForce Now. What's the problem? Why haven't I heard anyone talking about Amazon Luna, even though it has a bunch of these great features? The problem, on top of kind of the game selection, is big surprise. The main point of streaming a game through the cloud is that you don't have a PC to run it, and so you want the experience of running it through Amazon Luna to be, functional, and so you can play the game. Big surprise, you don't get to do that. Nope, you don't get to play the game. There's no game to be played. So as you can see by the gameplay that's now showing on screen, this is not what I would call good experience. So the biggest thing I can basically say about the gameplay is that it is very pixelated, crushed, sort of compressed footage, and the input lag. So typically like bit crushing or whatever happens on all these services, some more than others, but it eventually like fixes itself. Same thing here, right? It fixes itself eventually. It's kind of bad in some spots, better in others, depending on internet connection. However, the input lag is immense. There's a lot of input lag here. There's a lot of like waiting around for input to happen. There's a lot of connections interrupted issues, and there's just generally a lot of delay between any input you have, whether it's looking or keyboard, mouse movement, or anything like that, or just general lag spikes. And overall, it is the worst sort of streaming experience. Now, that's obviously due to a couple of factors: the Wi-Fi, where the servers are located, because you don't get to like choose, I don't think, where your servers are located. So it's like wherever the servers are located most nearest to you. If there's any weather, like there's things that obviously affect it. But overall, I would say in terms of streaming, this is the worst. And if you're trying to compare to something like Stadia or GeForce Now, I'd actually honestly say Stadia is pretty good. I didn't have as many problems with Stadia. My problem with Stadia was obviously the business model and sort of the limited amount of games. You know, like the business model is annoying. Like you have to pay for games, but they were kind of switching off to a whole like pay, like the free one to test it out with like 2 games, and then the paid one you get a bunch of games, kind of like what xCloud was doing or part of xCloud's model. But the biggest issue with Stadia was that the game selection was rough. This is kind of in the same boat, but unlike Stadia, the actual technology here isn't great, right? They don't have the resources or server infrastructure that Google does on a consumer-facing front to do that. And you might think, oh, it's AWS, but AWS doesn't really have that many consumer-facing. It's not prepared for this, right? It's not ready to handle this. So I'm not sure if the Ghost Runner footage that you're seeing here is actually going to be this bad, because it's pretty bad right now in the preview window, but typically it fixes itself when it's put into the editing software. But also remember that it's gone through an editing software, so it's even more compressed. So what you're seeing here is pretty bad. But yeah, that's basically overall what I'd say about the capacity of Amazon Luna, is the fact that it seems like a Stadia, but with the thing of xCloud included games, Stadia's accessibility, GeForce's Now accessibility and usability, and it seems like, okay, it's a combination of these, except they do each part of it worse. The include games aren't great. The accessibility to use on a browser are interesting, except you also get better performance by downloading the app. And like GeForce Now, the flexibility of being able to do the app or on your phone or whatever is cool, except obviously things are kind of still in beta, right? If you try to download the Amazon Luna app on your phone, it doesn't really work. There's a bunch of problems with it. It can only be used as a controller for a thing on a different system, so you'd have to have a browser open, your phone connects as the controller, and then your browser has something else. It's just kind of a little bit more of a hassle. So it doesn't really take the best parts of any of these. It kind of just mashes them together and tries to be the best of anything, and it doesn't quite do it. So ultimately, I'd say try it out. Obviously, with all these ones, obviously it's a trying out process, but try it out, see if you like it, and then overall I said it's definitely not worth it at the moment. There's not enough games here that I would personally play or like to play on console, even if I would like to play normally. Playing these on console, like Metro Exodus, I've been meaning to play. Problem is, it's on cloud, and with the input lag and stuff, it's a FPS, and so that's going to be kind of difficult to play. Things like platformers are also going to be hard to play because of the input lag, right? And a lot of these things you see here are Ghost Runner, input lag, and the sort of delay hurt that game. Let's see. Katana Zero hurts that game. Any platformers, Mega Man 11, Killer Queen Black, definitely hurt those games. Metro Exodus, it hurts the shooting ability. There's a lot of games here that need good precision, just in general, a lot of co-op things, right? And if you don't have that from cloud, it kind of defeats the purpose. Certain other ones, like tactical strategy games, tend to not, like mini golf or whatever isn't. Reroll isn't. So there's ones that are like taking advantage of the fact that you don't need super precision, but it's just kind of like a thing where if you're paying money for this, you might as well have the best possible cloud gaming experience, and right now that is definitely not on Amazon Luna. So yeah, I will make a tier list actually in a couple days, hopefully from now, that talks more about cloud and sort of the cloud gaming, and see which one of these is best. So if you want to see that, definitely hit the subscribe button and all that stuff, and I will see everyone in the next video.